Good morning, students. I welcome you back. The next portion of entrepreneurship. Today we will do the forms of private business ownership. Basically, the main concentration over here is non-corporate forms of business. You know that in forms of private business ownership, they are divided into forms of private business ownership into two parts. The first one is called non-corporate organization, and the second one is called corporate organization. Under non-corporate organization, there are three forms are there: sole proprietorship, partnership, and joint Hindu family business. Under corporate organization, this is joint stock company and cooperative societies. Now, these are non-corporate form of business. Today, we will discuss about the non-corporate business organization, sole proprietorship, partnership, and joint Hindu family business under non-corporate. And the corporate form of business organization, they are divided in two parts. The first one is joint stock company and the cooperative society. But the question arises here: what is the difference between non-corporate and corporate form of business organization? You know that under non-cooperative forms, in non-cooperative forms of ownership, the identity of the enterprises is not different from its owners. Owners are personally liable for all the debts of the enterprise. This form of partnership or this form of organization can be set up without registration under governing laws. Okay, it doesn't mean you don't need the registration. It means that you need the registration as per the government requirements. Suppose if you want to go for the medical business, you need to take the license. If you want to set up a liquor plant, you need to take a license. It means non-corporate form of business ownership, the basic differences and the identity of the enterprise is not different from its owner. The first thing is clearly definable over here. The identity of the enterprise is not different from its owner. It means that owners are personally liable for all the debts of the enterprise. Suppose in case if the owner could not pay the money, he is solely responsible for this. He is the personally liable for all the debts of the business, which is not there in the corporate form of business. So basic, you need to understand that what is non-cooperative form. Non-cooperative form of ownership, the identity जो आदमी की पहचान होती है वो अपने बिजनेस के साथ ही होती है, वो डिफरेंट नहीं होती. मीन्स उसका बिजनेस जो है, सपोज ए इज रनिंग अ सोल पार्टनरशिप और एबीसी रनिंग अ पार्टनरशिप और एनी करता इज रनिंग अ जॉइंट हिंदू फैमिली बिजनेस, द ओनरशिप इज नॉट डिफरेंट फ्रॉम हिम. मीन्स ही इज पर्सनली लायबल फॉर ऑल द डेब्ट्स ऑफ द एंटरप्राइज. Is that clear? This term is called non-cooperative form. So under non-cooperative form of business organization, divided into three parts. The first one is, note down, sole proprietorship. Next is partnership. Next is joint Hindu family business. And the corporate business organization, they divide into joint stock company and cooperative societies. Now, what are cooperative forms? What are the cooperative form of business organization? In cooperative forms of ownership, the identity of the enterprise is separate or different from its owner. You need to understand that. Is separate or different from its owner. The owner cannot be made liable personally to pay the debts of the enterprise. This form of organization is required to get itself registered under the governing laws, which is called the Company Act. Now these are called joint stock companies, or we say that cooperative form of organization. So please understand this thing. Here, under non-cooperative form, the owner are liable for all the acts. Owner are liable for all the liabilities under non-cooperative. But under cooperative form of business organization, in cooperative forms of ownership, the identity of the enterprise is separate or different from its owner. The owner cannot be made liable personally to pay the debts. वो उतना ही पे करेगा जितना उसका शेयर होगा. Suppose if you take example of Andy Wipro was running by Ajim Bhai Premji. He is the CEO. Ajim Bhai Premji is the CEO of Wipro. Now he is liable if he is having 75% of his shares in Wipro. He is liable for 75%, not for the 100%. The other owners are also there, which we call shareholders. So this form of organization is required to get itself registered under the governing laws. Now Google, we say McDonald's, Reliance Industries Limited, Wipro, Infosys, that's form of organization that has an existence. This form of organization that has an existence independent from its owner. Corporations have powers and liabilities separate and distinct from its owner. Means that the owner is not liable to pay all the debts. Okay, his identity is different from its company. You need to understand this thing. Mukesh Ambani is a different person. Reliance Industries Limited is a different person. Of course, Mukesh Ambani is related to Reliance Industries Limited because he is the CEO of that. He is the owner of that. But he is not liable. He is not solely responsible for all the act which is Reliance Industries Limited is doing it. Of course, he is as a CEO, he is responsible for his shares. He is not entirely responsible for all the act. Suppose when the Reliance Industry is doing good, we always say Mukesh Ambani is doing good. It's not Mukesh Ambani is doing good. It's a company who the board of directors, the employees over there, the management, they are doing good. You need to understand this thing. Under non-corporate form, the ownership and the company is not different. But here, the owners cannot be made liable personally because in corporate form of ownership, the identity of the enterprise is separate or different from its owner. The owner cannot be made liable personally to pay the debts of the enterprise. This form of organization is required to get itself registered under governing laws, which called the Companies Act 2013. Or we also define this type of organization, the cooperative form of organization that has an existence independent of its owners. Corporations have powers and liabilities separate and distinct from its owner. This you understand. Now how it's clear that what is the difference between corporate form of organization and the non-corporate form of organizations. Now the first we will study about the sole proprietorship. I hope you all know what is the sole proprietorship all about. You already studied in my previous videos or in class 11 as well. So what is sole proprietorship? Yes, sole, the name says, sole proprietorship is a business initiated and operated by one individual who carries all financial and administrative responsibilities, employing such assistants as may be necessary. That means sole proprietorship means one person carrying on all the business activities alone. That's called sole proprietorship. So sole proprietorship is a business. We are studying about the sole proprietorship first. The first one is sole proprietorship. Now who is sole proprietorship? The sole proprietorship is a business which is initiated and operated by one individual who carries all financial and administrative responsibilities, employing such as assistants as may be necessary. It means that he is doing the business alone. I'll give you one example over here. You heard the name. The first thing is sole proprietorship is also called one-man show. I'll give you an example over here. How a one-man show can become a joint stock company. You know that Tom Monaghan, the founder of Domino's Pizza. You heard the name? We are talking about the sole proprietorship first. So we are giving the first idea. Tom Monaghan, it's a Tom Monaghan, the founder of Domino's Pizza, had a tough childhood, was raised in an orphanage and foster homes. In 1960, Monaghan and his brother Jim borrowed $900 and bought a founding pizzeria in Michigan. Now, after some time, Jim left. Okay, Jim left after 1 year. But Tom hung on surviving near two bankruptcies. Means he is about to bankrupt. Okay, and there is a fire on his godam. Tim worked 18 hours in a day and 7 days a week. Okay, with wholeheartedly making a Domino's Pizza, a MNC. Now, this MNC is created when Tom Monaghan started this Domino's Pizza as a sole proprietorship. He worked very hard. Although his brother Jim left after 1 year, but he fought very hard. He nearly survived. his और जिसकी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन थी उसमें आग लग गई थी, but he survived on this space. He worked very hard. He worked 18 hours a day, 7 days a week to become a Domino's Pizza, a giant MNC. Now you know that. You all know Domino's Pizza, you all like it also. But the story behind Domino's Pizza is very interesting. Tom Monaghan worked very hard. He was an orphanage, raised in foster home. In 1960, he and his brother borrowed $900 and bought a founding pizzeria in Michigan, USA. Now these are the stories. There are not many other stories are there. How a sole proprietorship if person works very hard, if person can satisfy the needs and tastes of consumer, it becomes a very good giant company and it become a MNC also. Now the other things is, so do you understand that sole proprietorship is a business initiated and operated by one individual who carries all financial and administrative responsibilities, employing such assistants as may be necessary. Now there are different characteristics of sole proprietorship. You know that there are different characteristics are there, which is important to understand, that important for the board's point of view also. The first important characteristic of sole proprietorship is individual ownership. Akela aadmi. Individual ownership. Now he is the alone person responsible for all the act. Whether it's get a profit, he share the profit all alone. Of course, he can pay the salary to his employees, but he is an individual owner. वो अकेला आदमी owner होता है. You know that. The second point is individual management and control. First one is individual ownership. The ownership is not to be distributed in that case. He is the sole person who is responsible for all the acts. He is the owner of the company. Next is individual, we say management and control. All the activities, management and control lies in his hand. Management and control. All the activities, because he is responsible, solely responsible for all the act. Whether it's loss, whether it's a profit, whether he won't take any decision. He is the individual person to individual management and individual control. Next is, you have the two characteristics, understand that. Next is individual financing. He is an alone person, alone owner. It means whenever he requires money, he has to finance them on his own. Of course, he can borrow money from the bank, from the financial institutions, but he is a person who can bring the money. उसको वही responsible है. If any case business needs money, so he need to finance the business. We call it individual financing. He brings the finance on his own. That's what we call individual financing. The next is unlimited liability. Important portion. Here, the liability will be unlimited. Now, why the liability is unlimited? Suppose in any case, because he is a alone person, he is liable for all the activity. In case, suppose he has to pay money and the business doesn't have that money. Suppose उसको कुछ पैसा पे करना है और उसकी business के पास इतना पैसा नहीं है, business में इतना पैसा नहीं है, तो he can have to bring from his home. उसे घर से लाना पड़ेगा, चाहे अपनी प्रॉपर्टी बेच के लाना पड़ेगा, because liability in this case is unlimited. इस केस में liability थी नहीं जितना उसका business में share है, that's there in the corporate form of business organization, not here. Here the liability unlimited. Suppose his business worth is 10 lakh rupees and he has to pay 15 lakh rupees, so he has to bring 5 lakh more. If he cannot bring, he has to go for the insolvency. He become insolvent. That means liability is unlimited. He has to pay money for out of his pocket. In case the business have any overdue amount, in case the business has any liability. So in this case, the sole proprietorship case, the liability is unlimited. Is that clear? Now, next point is easy information. Easy formation. The sole proprietorship business is easy to start and easy to close. Now suppose you don't like any activity, आपका business अच्छा नहीं कर रहा है, तो you close the business and switch over to another one. Easy formation. There are not so much of legal requirements are there as there in the corporate form of business organization. When you want to establish a joint stock company, there are lot many legal formalities are there, which we'll discuss later on. But you understand that in case of sole proprietorship, अगर किसी को sole proprietorship खोलना है, कोई business खोलना है, it's very easy to start. Suppose किसी को कोई shop खोलनी है, तो need to take permission from the local authorities. In case the license required, need to take the license. It is very easy to form, easy to close. Next is no separate legal entity. No separate legal entity. Here, the owner is not separate from his business. I told you before also. So there is no separate legal entity. The business की कोई अलग पहचान नहीं है इस केस में, because the owner is responsible for all that. He is the individual owner. The liability is the liability of the business lies to him only. There is no separate legal entity. The business and the owner are same in this case, because the sole proprietor, who is the owner of the business, who is the entrepreneur of the business, he is responsible for all the act. Next is limited area of operation, because you know the sole proprietor Means when you want to open a business, you first you look forward this thing, कि which business suits you. Okay, and what is the area of operation? So you know a sole proprietorship business because he operated in the local areas or limited area operation, limited area of operation. Now you know the one person cannot control. If he establish a business in Dehradun, he cannot see in Delhi also. He cannot be present in Meerut also. He cannot be present in the Mumbai also. The area operation is limited. Is it clear? So these are some characteristics of a sole proprietorship. Okay. One more important part: quick decision making. Please note down this one. Quick decision making. Because if you want to take decision, he need to ask anyone. उसको किससे पूछना नहीं है. So whenever he take a decision, he can take it very quickly. But in corporate form organization, when we discuss, when we will discuss about the corporate form, you better understand this thing. The decision making is not quick in corporate, but here the sole proprietorship is the alone man. He can take the decision very quickly, very fast as compared to other forms of business organization, because he cannot need to ask anyone. उसे किससे पूछने की जरूरत नहीं है कि मैं ये करूं या नहीं करूं. Is it clear? Apart from this, there are certain demerits are there of sole proprietorship. There are certain demerits, means disadvantages are there. We call it demerits. Now, what are the different demerits of a sole proprietorship? You know that sole proprietorship has a limited capital because he is the alone person who is funding. तो means उसके हाथ एक लिमिट तक बंधे होंगे. ठीक है, he cannot pull everyone. वो हर जगह पैसे नहीं लगा सकता. तो जब उसके बाद पैसे कम होंगे तो it means he has limited resources. So we call it limited resources. These are demerits because limited capital, limited resources. Okay, unlimited liability. His liability is unlimited liability because he is responsible for all his acts. So liability he has to bear all alone. He has to bear all the losses alone. Sometimes the limited life of business concern. अगर business नहीं चल पाता, there are very rare chances there because कोई भी business खोलता है, he always think that he can go for the longer purposes. Longer, और वो business को बढ़ाना चाहता है. Whether it's area wise or whether it's expand करना चाहता है business को. But in sometimes in sole proprietorship, the limited life of business concern is there. In case the business चल नहीं पाता, तो nobody others there to finance them. He is the alone person. So we say limited life of business. Next is limited managerial ability. Okay, we say that limited managerial ability. One person cannot control everything. We say limited managerial ability because the one person could not be good on marketing, could not be good on production, could not be good on supply, could not be good on finance. To me, it's very difficult. He has a very limited managerial ability. Of course, he can hire a person, but in case he can afford that, then only he can hire them. वो लोगों को सिलेक्ट कर सकता है, चुन सकता है, but not as a partner, as a employee. That's why when he has all the limitation, he has a limited scope of expansion also. It's a limited scope of expansion, expand the business. Because he think that कि मैं हर एरिया को मैं कवर नहीं कर पाऊंगा. तो means they say I'm happy to be in particular one area. Of course I can expand my business. मैं एक शॉप है, दूसरी शॉप खोल दूं, तीसरी शॉप खोल दूं. This is called expansion. Okay, not the increase the business. Increase the business means suppose you have a shop and you want to open a 5-star hotel. You want to open for a new textile industry. This is called the increase in business. He can expand. एक shop है, दूसरी shop खोल सकता है. He can expand that. But they always have a limited scope of expansion. So I hope it's clear. What are demerits of a private or demerits of a sole proprietorship? There are different demerits are limited resources, okay, limited life of business concern, unlimited liabilities. Is it clear? Then limited managerial ability, limited scope of expansions. Now, next portion is, might be you think that there are other forms. I'll give you one more example over here, which I given in my previous video also. The company like Coca-Cola, Flipkart, Apple, Amazon, even Walt Disney, Hero Cycles, etc. They all started their company as a sole proprietorship. The companies like Coca-Cola, Flipkart, Apple, Amazon, okay, even the Walt Disney, Hero Cycles, they all started their company as a sole proprietorship. So sole proprietorship ठीक है, name should be one, ठीक है, one of a kind and remarkable in exchange is called the stickness. Now it refers to form of business organization which is owned, managed and controlled by an individual. I told you before also, it refers to form of organization which is owned, managed and controlled by an individual. ठीक है, who is recipient of all the profits and bearer of all the losses. So here we discuss about the, ठीक है, demerits of a sole proprietorship. Now after this thing, what is the suitability of sole proprietorship form of business? Means the sole proprietorship business is suitable for which form of businesses. Now after going through the pros and cons, we see the characteristic and disadvantages of sole proprietorship. Okay, after going through the pros and cons of this form of ownership, it can be safely concluded that one-man control is best in the world. Please note down this thing, it's an important part. One-man control is best in the world if that man is big enough to manage everything. If that one man is big enough to manage everything, which is very difficult part. But if one-man control is best in the world, in that cases, if the one man is big enough to manage everything, the success or failure of an enterprise depends upon the intelligence, competence and the sensible decision making capacity. This is the important part, very important part. The success or failure of an enterprise depends upon the intelligence, competence and the sensible decision making. How sensible you are, how quick you can take the decision at the right time. Can you able to make the goods which is as per the market taste? Okay, can you making the goods as per the consumer choice? Not for the sake of production you are producing goods. It's not like this thing. That's called traditional approach. I told you before also. Now what is the modern approach says that you have to satisfy your customer. Okay, if you are dealing in product, you have to make the goods which can satisfy the needs and tastes and preferences of the consumer. If you are dealing in services, you have to provide that type of services which consumer wants again and again. So this is an important part. The success or failure of an enterprise depends upon the intelligence, competence and sensible decision making capacity. How sensible you are. How is your decision making capacity? So these are required for an entrepreneur. Competence, sensible decision making capacity. Okay, this form is suitable for, if you say, this business organization is suitable for sole proprietorship. So this business is suitable for, if you say, when the capital requirement is limited. So please note down suitability of sole proprietorship. When you say suitability of sole proprietorship means that the sole proprietorship form of business is most suitable for, so we simply say suitability of sole proprietorship. Now this form of business is suitable for, when the capital requirement is limited. Okay. The first thing is when capital requirement is limited. Okay, when you require limited amount of capital. Is it clear now? Okay. Now next point is, when secrecy is important. Where the secrecy is more important. Now you require a business ownership where secrecy is very high preference. Where the secrecy is given very high preferences, then you need to you cannot trust anyone else. So secrecy is important. Suppose you are developing a software for the defense purposes. You cannot trust anyone. So you have to develop software for defense purpose all alone. Is it clear? So where the secrecy is important. Next point is, after we will say, when the capital requirement is limited, when the secrecy is important. Next point is when the market of the product is local. Okay, when I say market of the product is local. When the market of the product is local. Or we say when the size of the venture is small. Size of the venture is small. Small. Okay, you know that. Venture small, where business organization, when the size of business is not too big, is that much where one man can control each and everything. So these are the suitability of sole proprietorship. So if you are the capital requirement is limited, when the secrecy is important, when the market of the product is local, when the size of the venture is small, then you should go for the sole proprietorship. when then the entrepreneur should go for the sole proprietorship. So please need to understand that, because sole proprietorship play a very important role. Okay, because it's always say that one man control is best in the world if, but the word if is here, if that man is big enough to manage everything. The success or failure of an enterprise depends upon the intelligence, competencies, and the sensible decision making capacity of the entrepreneur. Is it clear? So this type of farmer is suitable for, I hope you understand that, when the capital requirement is limited, okay, when secrecy is to be maintained. Next point is when the secrecy is to be maintained, when the market of produce is local and the signs of venture is local. Okay, now I hope this point is clear. Then we move forward to partnership. Oh, the sole proprietorship is clear to you? You understand that? One man. Now we consider about the partnership, where the number of owners are more than one. We call it partnership. The term is called partnership. I hope you all know what is partnership. Section 1932, revised in 2013. Section 1932, revised in 2013, as per the Companies Act. Now they say two heads being better than one is given quotation in partnership. Two heads, partnership quotation is two heads being better than one. Being better than one means दो दिमाग हमेशा एक से better होते हैं. Now this is a certain pros and cons are there that depend upon person to person. ठीक है, as per your requirement. But what is partnership? You know that partnership is an association of two or more persons as co-owners. So please note down this definition is an important one. A partnership is an association of two or more persons as co-owners to carry on a business and to share its profits and losses. To share its profits and losses. So what is this? A partnership is an association of two or more persons as co-owner. जहाँ दो या दो से लोग. Okay, to carry on a business. A business करते हैं, a legal business, and to share its profit and losses. And to share its profit and losses. There are one more definition here, which is given by Indian Partnership Act, which is given by Indian Partnership Act 1932. Now they say that, please note on this definition. This definition given by Indian Partnership Act 1932. They say that partnership is a relation between persons who have agreed to share profits of a business carried on by all or any one of them acting for all. Is the important part. Partnership is a relation between person. Is a relation between person. Is a relation between persons. Okay, who have agreed to share profits, who have agreed to share profits, who have agreed to share profits, okay, of a business, profits of a business, who have agreed to share profits of a business carried on by all, carried on by all, or any of them acting for, or any of them acting for all. No, it's an important part. Now understand this one. Partnership is a relation between person. This is definition is given by Indian Partnership Act 1932. I hope you can able to see this. 1932, which is revised in 2013. It says it's a relation between persons who have agreed to share profits of a business carried on by all, or any one of them acting for all, or any one of them acting for all. Now here, what it means any one of them? Suppose there are 5 partners are there, A, B, C, D and E. Only A is the active partner. B, C, D and E. There are 5 partners. I am giving example. What does this line means? There are 5 partners are here. A, B, C, D and E. A contributed 1 lakh rupees. B contributed 2 lakh. C also contributed 2 lakh. D contributed 1 lakh 50,000. And E contributed 1 lakh. Now B, C and D and E are sleeping partners. Means they only put the money. काम कौन कर रहा है? A is doing the money. B, C, D and E, they only put the money in the business. They say, yeah, you take the money, तुम पैसा ले लो and do business करो. हमें profit में हिस्सा देना. And the profit हिस्सा depend upon the partnership deed. हम अभी पढ़ेंगे इसको. But you understand, listen. A, B, C, D, E are partners. Now only A is doing the business. Okay, B, C, D और E ने पैसा लगाया खाली. They only invest the money. But the important portion here is that, ठीक है, the business is carried on by all or any of them acting for all. Here A is doing the business on behalf of A, B, C, D and E. But if anything goes wrong, all the 5 partners are responsible for this. Then they cannot say, no भैया A is doing the business, हमने खाली पैसा लगाया है, तो A is responsible. No. All the partners, because they mention that partnership is a relation between persons who have agreed to share profits of a business carried on by all or any one of them acting for all. Here A is acting for all, but they receive the profit and losses in as per their ratios, but is an association of 2 or more than 2 persons. They all are co-owners. A, B, C, D, E, they all are co-owners. Only A is acting, A is acting for them all. But when anything goes wrong, they all are responsible, not only A. That's why it's called association of 2 or more persons. I hope it's clear. The definition is clear. Next, we want to what are the characteristic of? Let me say, what are the characteristic of partnership? You know that there are different characteristics earlier. The first one is, you know that there are 2 or more than 2 persons. I say 2 or more persons. As per the Partnership Act revised in 2013, minimum number is 2, maximum to 50. Minimum is 2, maximum is 50, and it goes to 100. But you have to take permission. Okay, for a professional business, businesses. But you heard that is mentioned here 2 to 50. The minimum number is partner is 2, maximum is 50, and it goes to 100 if you want to carry out a professional business. तो आपने कोई legal firm खोल रखी है, कोई doctor का association है, then it's moved to 100. But as per the Partnership Act 2013 mentioned that minimum 2 persons and maximum is 50. Okay, is it clear? This is called 2 or more persons should be involved in partnership. Then is agreement. Agreement should be in. Then the agreement is not compulsory to register a partnership. It's not compulsory. Then they say agreement should be oral or written, but it's always be in written, because written agreement among partners treated as a partnership deed. If you follow a written agreement, we call it partnership deed. Means what is partnership deed? You already discussed in class 12th accountancy. What is partnership deed? Partnership deed generally a relation between among partners, how they do the business, how they participate in the business. The partnership deed first thing is says that firm का नाम क्या होगा? What is the name of the firm? What is the profit sharing ratio of different partners? How much partners bring their capitals? Agar in any case, if you want any other partner should admit, what is the procedure for admitting a partner? Same way, if a partner want to leave the business or business छोड़ के जाना चाहता है, what is the procedure for retirement? Is that clear? The same way, फर्म का नाम क्या होगा भैया, फर्म कहाँ पर एस्यूम करेगी, फर्म का बिजनेस का नेचर क्या होगा, राइट्स एंड ड्यूटीज क्या होगी पार्टनर्स की, किसका काम क्या होगा. Is it clear? That everything should mention the partnership deed. That's why it's called written agreement. The written agreement among partners is treated as partnership deed. So it's not compulsory to be a written document, but it's always be before that the agreement should be in written so that there are no conflicts occur. I hope this part is clear. So that no conflict occur. So it's always mentioned in this thing, the profit share ratio, the liabilities, और देन नेक्स्ट कैरेक्टरिस्टिक ऑफ पार्टनरशिप इज profit sharing ratio. Profit sharing. They need to distribute the profits because now there's no one. There's not only a one owner. There are more than one owner are there. अब एक से ज़्यादा ओनर्स हैं तो यू नीड टू डिवाइड द प्रॉफिट एज पर ये मेंशन इन द रिटर्न एग्रीमेंट. अगर आपका रिटर्न एग्रीमेंट है तो उसमें आपने मेंशन किया होगा कि भाई ए इज डूइंग एक्स्ट्रा वर्क तो उसको ज़्यादा प्रॉफिट मिलना चाहिए. बी सी डी एंड ई ओनली पुट देयर कैपिटल तो उनका प्रॉफिट थोड़ा कम होना चाहिए. दैट डिपेंड्स अपॉन देयर एवरीथिंग इज मेंशन इन द पार्टनरशिप डीड बिकॉज इट्स अ रिटर्न एग्रीमेंट. They should discuss about among all. Of course, they can take the professional help also, but they should be clearly mentioned that किस partner का कितना profit sharing ratio होगा. Next question is again as compared to sole proprietorship, the liability is unlimited. Unlimited liability. इतनी ये नहीं है कि जिस partner जितनी capital लगाई he is liable for this only. No, liability in case if the liability falls short. अगर बिजनेस की लायबिलिटी उनके बिजनेस की जो लायबिलिटी है वो फर्म से ज़्यादा हो गई. सपोज द बिजनेस फर्म हैज ए टोटल एसेट रुपीज 50 लाख एंड यू हैव टू पे 1 crore रुपीज. द एक्स्ट्रा 50 लाख यू हैव टू ब्रिंग द पार्टनर्स नीड टू ब्रिंग फ्रॉम देयर पर्सनल प्रॉपर्टीज. ओके, दिस वन इज कॉल्ड अनलिमिटेड लायबिलिटी. इज इट क्लियर? नेक्स्ट पॉइंट इज फिफ्थ वन इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. प्लीज नोट डाउन वेरी केयरफुली एंड अंडरस्टैंड इट. इम्प्लाइड अथॉरिटी. I already discussed this before also. What is implied authority? IMPLIED, implied authority. It means that any one partner can act on behalf of the firm and his acts bind the firm. Please note down. Any one partner can act on behalf of the firm but his acts bind the firm. It means that one partner, I'll give you example. A is doing the business on behalf of B, C, D and E. But his act, if A do something wrong, all the partners are responsible. Even it means that the firm is responsible. You know that the B, C, D and E cannot say that कि भाई A is doing the business, हमने पैसा उसको दिया था वो business कर रहा है, but they form a partnership. They all are responsible. Is it clear? So implied authority means any one partner can act on behalf of the firm and his acts bind the firm. I mean that his acts are responsible for, he is not responsible for his act. The combined partnership responsible for his act. Next part is mutual agency. Is an important characteristic. Mutual agency. And what is mutual agency? You know that the business of the firm can be carried on by all the partners or any of them acting for all. Therefore, every partner is a principal as well as an agent. Means every partner is an owner also and even is a worker also. It's called mutual agency. Means mutually they enter in the partnership. So means the business of the firm can be carried on by all the partners or any one of them acting for all. Therefore, it means that every partner is a principal, he is an owner as well as he is an agent also because he is responsible for the act. Is it clear? This is why it's called mutual agency. Next point is utmost good faith, which is required in partnership. The second point is utmost good faith. This is UT, utmost good faith. Now what is this utmost good faith? You know that mutual trust and confidence. Mutual trust and confidence is the main strength of partnership. Every partner should act honestly and give proper account to other partners. Means that he should get the proper respect to every partner. If the mutual respect is there, if the partner respect each other, then of course it creates a very good environment. Then the partnership can flourish. I'll give you example. There are lot many partnerships who flourish. I'll also give you in my previous videos the examples of partnership. How the firm started as a partnership, started as a partners and became a joint stock companies, very big companies. To me, the utmost good faith is required in the business. The mutual trust and confidence is one of the main strength of partnership. Every partner should act honestly and give proper account to other partner. Means he should get the respect to other partners. Because in business, simple thing is here. You have to give respect. Then only you get respect. Then this utmost good faith is required in every field. Even if you're in classroom, even if you're in sports field, even if you are talking to your parents or talking to your cousins, the utmost good faith is required. When the mutual trust and confidence is not there, no partnership, even no friendship can survive. So you have to give the utmost good faith. So I hope this point is clear. These are the characteristics of partnership. I hope this non-cooperative form of business under characteristic of partnership is clear to you. Next, we move further to. Okay, one more important point is here before we move to demerits, merits, and demerits. Okay, one more important point is here which I miss. They say that is the point number 8. Restriction on transfer of shares is an important point. Restriction on transfer of shares. The restriction on transfer of shares. You know that no partner can sell or transfer his shares to anybody else without the consent of all the partners. If a partner wants to discontinue in the firm, he can do, but with the consent of all the partners. Means that, suppose, in case A, B, C, D are partners are there, and D says, no, I don't want to continue, can you continue in the firm? I want to sell my share to somebody else, say to Jed. No, not possible. If all the partners agree, then only he can transfer his share. Otherwise, it's not allowed. Okay, if you want to discontinue the firm, he can sell the share to the partners only. Means he cannot transfer his share to outsiders without the consent of the other partners. It means that this is an important point, restriction on transfer shares. In joint stock company, you purchase share and you can sell to anybody. Okay, this freedom is there. Freedom is there in joint stock companies. When you learn about the company form of organization, there is no restriction. But in partnership, the restriction on transfer of shares is there. No partner can sell or transfer his shares to anybody else without the consent of other partners. If a partner wants to discontinue, again, he can do it. He or she can do it. But with the consent of all the partners. All the other partners should be agree on that. Is it clear? So there is a restriction on transfer of shares here. This is a total. We discussed the 8 characteristics. Normally in board exam they can ask for 5, 6, but you remember all 8. You never know. Okay, suppose the question asks, define the characteristic of partnership on basis of restriction on transfer of share, or define differentiate between partnership and cooperative form of business organization on the basis of such and such. So you need to understand that all the points. Now, what are the merits and demerits? You know that there are certain merits are there of partnership. The first one is say that ease of formation and closure. Again, same like sole proprietorship. Okay, ease in formation. The partnership can be started very easily. You can start the partnership. It's very easy to form. Only you require the name of our partners. You have to prepare the partnership deed in case you want the documents agreement in return. So it's very easy to form and very easy to close. Okay. Now, second important point is balance in decision making. Balance in decision making. Now, I told you 2 minds are always better than 1 mind. It's a quotation of partnership. 2 minds are always better than 1 mind, but it depends upon condition to condition. Okay, but here the balanced decision making is here. The one man is not there as came sole proprietorship. In sole proprietorship, he is the alone person who can take the decision. But here you can discuss your decision with the other partners. So whenever you get the result, you always get it in a balanced way. We say that balanced decision making. Okay. Third point is you can access to more funds. Access to more funds. In sole proprietorship, one man is here. He had to bring his capital on all alone, but here partners are there. In case a firm needs more money, the partners can bring together. Okay, so you can access to more funds as compared to sole proprietorship, but not as compared to the cooperative form of business organization, which you call the company form of business organization. Of course, they are run by the members, they are run by the shareholders. Okay, of course, you get lesser amount than company, but as compared to sole proprietorship, you can access to more funds. Again, risk can be shared. Here, sharing of risk. Sharing of risk. The risk can be shared. In sole proprietorship, only one person is here who can share all the risk. But here the risk can be shared. You can share the risk. Obviously, these are the merits. Then there are certain demerits also there. There are certain demerits are there. What are demerits in partnership? Understand that. Demerits. What are the disadvantages? Again, the unlimited liability is here. Unlimited liability. I told you before also what is the meaning of unlimited liability. Unlimited liability means in case the firm suffer losses and the loss is more than your assets. Suppose your assets are worth of 50 lakh and you have to pay 1 crore rupees, then the partner need to bring it from your home. उन्हें किसी तरह लाना पड़ेगा. That's called unlimited liability. Okay, one next point is possibility of conflicts. Possibility of conflicts. Now conflicts are very common in partnership. It's very common in partnership. Now need to be occur. That's what I told you. Utmost good faith is required. One of the most important characteristics to avoid the possibility of conflicts. But the conflicts are very common because related to money. And money is such a, in terms of that, of course it's necessary, but it increases the conflict also. The possibility of conflicts are there. Next is, partnership never gets a public confidence. Lack of public confidence. Lack of public confidence. Lack of public confidence. I'll give you one more example here. Have you heard the name Carox? Carox. They are started by two partners. Carox is a software company. Okay, like NIIT, like Aptech is another software company. Flourished in early 2000, late 90s and early 2000. But they are started by two partners. The one partner name is Karan and the other partner name is Roxy. That's why they give the name Carox. But unfortunately, this company fails. Again, why? I'm not saying because I never get so much of detail about this thing, but whatever I heard or whatever I read, where the possibility of conflicts are there. They cannot deliver that type of product in the market. They cannot deliver that type of services in the market, which require. Means in simple way, if I'm saying that because of the conflicts, they cannot serve the purpose. They cannot satisfy the needs and tastes and preference of the Indian customers. That's why this company fails. So they are there because of conflicts. There are many companies are there. There are many big companies are there who cannot survive in the market. The next part, suitability of partnership form of business. Okay, suitability of partnership form of business. Now where the partnership form of business are suitable. So we get suitability of partnership form of business. Where the partnership form of business suitable. Now the partnership form is suitable when more investment and better managerial efficiency is required as compared to sole proprietorship. As compared to sole proprietorship. To say that partnership form is suitable when more investment and better managerial efficiency is required. It is suitable where capital and managerial requirements are higher as compared of sole proprietorship. So please understand this term. When we are capital and managerial, we are capital and managerial ability is required. When the more amount of capital and the more managerial ability is required, as compared to sole proprietorship. So please compare with the sole proprietorship, because sometimes the sole proprietorship business cannot be successful. You require partnership. Okay, because where you require the more amount of capital, where you require the more manageriality, because the one man is not good enough to check each and everything. So then you require the partnership. So where the partnership is suitable, the partnership form is suitable when you require the more investment or better managerial efficiency as compared to the sole proprietorship. When you need the direct contact with the customer is essential. When you need direct contact with the customer is essential. So you need direct contact with the customer. You need to satisfy your suppliers. So you require the partnership to be one-to-one contact with each and everyone, so that you can satisfy your dealers, you can satisfy your suppliers, even you can satisfy your customers. So these are things. But when you compare to where the partnership firm is suitable, partnership firm कहाँ पर suitable है? वहाँ पर जहाँ पर sole proprietorship suitable नहीं हो पाती, जहाँ पर sole proprietorship की जो limitation exist होती है, वहाँ पर partnership form of business is good. There are not many questions people ask. So, what is the consequences of non-registration of a partnership firm? Means the consequences for non-registration of a partnership firm is an important part. In case suppose आपने partnership को register नहीं किया, आपने partnership को register नहीं किया, तो what are the consequences you face? So we write here consequences for non-registration of a partnership firm. For non-registration of a partnership firm. Please, important point. This is a very important question for the board purpose also. So please note down the same. Now, registration is not compulsory, you know that. In partnership, registration is not compulsory. But the act, because the Partnership Act 1932 or 2013, the earlier act is 1932 and the new act is 2013, does not provide any penalties for the non-registration, but it is advisable to register your partnership. The reason behind, so I say that registration is not compulsory. The Partnership Act does not provide any penalties for non-registration, but it is advisable. Now the question arises, why should partnership be registered? Why should? Now if the firm does not register, okay, different rights are denied to them. So if the firm does not register, so what are the acts, what are the rights denied to them? Please note down, a partner cannot file suit in any court. Partners cannot file suit in any court against the firm. So please note, a partner cannot, please note with me, a partners cannot file suit. I hope you can able to see it. SUIT in any court, okay, against the firm. Against the firm. The partner cannot file suit in any court against the firm or the other partners for the so understand carefully. A partners cannot file suit in any court against the firm or other partners for the enforcement of any right arising from a contract or any right conferred by the Partnership Act. Means पार्टनर्स एक दूसरे के खिलाफ कोई भी कंप्लेंट नहीं कर सकते कोर्ट में, because the court simply said your partnership is not registered, so we are not liable. If a partner says that, if one partner says that other partner promised me to give 1/4 share, but they're not giving 1/4 share, in that case court says we can't help you out because your firm is not registered, so you can solve the matter on your own. So this is an important part. The simple say that a partner cannot file suit in any court against the firm or other partners for the enforcement of any right arising from a contract or any right conferred by the Partnership Act. Means Partnership Act में कहा गया you have to maintain the partnership deed, but उन्होंने partnership deed बनाई नहीं and they decided they share the profits equally. लेकिन ऐसा हुआ ही नहीं, the other partner cannot file suit because the court simply says your partnership firm is not registered. Next is, a case cannot be filed against third party. A case cannot be filed. A case cannot be filed against third party. Against third party for claiming any right conferred by a contract. For claiming any right conferred by a contract. Conferred by a contract. Okay, and the third one is the firm or any of its partners cannot claim a set off or other proceedings in dispute with a third party. Means if they have any issue with the third party means suppliers, third party means the creditors, the third party means even the debtors, third party means even from whom you take the loan, your friends. Okay, you cannot fight. Mean the partners cannot claim a set off कि भाई उसने हमारा पैसा नहीं दिया or other proceedings in dispute with the third party. So please understand this thing. ठीक है, why should partnership to be registered? It's important to be registered a partnership so that the partnership can run smoothly. There are no disputes among partners. ठीक है, if the partnership is not registered, if the firm does not register, the following rights are denied. The first one is a partner cannot file suit in any court against the firm. Second thing is a case cannot be filed against third party for claiming any right conferred by a contract. And the third one is the firm or any of its partners cannot claim a set off or other proceedings in dispute with the third party. Means if they have a panga with the third party, the debtor says that or the creditor says that you have to pay money within 3 months. Of course they have to pay money, but they say you mentioned that you have to pay money in 3 months, but अभी 4 महीने बीत चुके हैं, आप मुझे पैसा पे नहीं किया. So in that case they are following their following disputes occur if the partnership is not registered. I hope this point is clear. And when the partnership is not registered, you understand this thing? So these are cooperative form of business organization. Okay, and note down a term. So I hope the sole proprietorship and partnership is clear to you. Their merits, their demerits, in which the sole proprietorship is suitable for, the partnership form of business suitable for. I hope you understand this thing. Okay, read the terms very carefully. I will provide you notes in the Google Classroom. And in case if you find any problem, please do write to me. Please take care, work hard, and please stay tuned. Take care.